that are responsible for how these central thoughts get formed in your heart. Number one, trauma, or what you may call shock therapy. The second thing, repetitive exposure. Trauma or shock therapy, repetitive exposure. Those two things. And many a times it's not about you being bad. It's about the depth of the Christ that God wants to bring out of you. It's about the making of character, of personality that God is interested in. And many a times when that first pattern begins to happen, you will fail the test. You will just discover that, okay, it was a test. And based on my reactions, no matter how justified your reaction is, but God is weighing the heart. To bring out what is in your heart, you can now get familiar with the unconscious pattern that is there. Do you learn from that failure? The shock therapy that happens during that period is to bring you into knowledge of certain things. It will mold your character. The same scenario will repeat itself and you will pass the test. And you can pass the test without knowing because you have become something else. So what was odd and looked like it's not acceptable to you before just looks like something you just walked through because you're a new person. God will deal with you at certain points in your life because there are some tests in the future that is so critical to your destiny that you must pass. So in a small place with small mountains, there is always a light that will shine through every traumatic experience. Even the ones not ordained of God. Unfortunate events that may have happened, understand that there is always a light. The difference between light and darkness, the darkness will keep you in a perpetual cycle of repeated failures. But the light is such that it will help you think into the future. And it's speaking to you such that you're embracing thoughts that your future can be radically different from your past and doesn't need to be dictated by your past. When you think back through that trauma, this light shines through. But if you allow the darkness to overwhelm you, you want to repeat the Egypt experience, it leads to perishing and being forgotten in the wilderness and never coming into the promised land. And we saw that the two men that understood this got into the promised land. Remember the principle of a seed. Even if the fruit doesn't look like a seed, but the fruit is in the seed, you still really can't tell how many fruits are inside that seed. So much capacity, the sequence of growth, everything locked up in it. It just needs to find the right information. So the seed is in you.